How long do you think it normally takes for you to become an expert in the team or the field you're in?
I would say it's about 2 years, but now I'm reaching my fifth and 6 years. So the question I ask myself, even to the people that have been in this career for a longer time, is what are the value that Hi, I'm Chloe, and currently based in Taiwan. And I worked for Google for more than 12 years. My background was just studying business. My first role was in L'Oreal doing a marketing role. And then afterwards, I joined Google. I changed three different roles. And currently, I'm the senior manager for YouTube content partnership. I have a lot of interests: hiking, scuba diving, and dancing, yoga, all the stuff.
Can you talk about your journey? What did you study in school?
Mhm.
How did you get into Google? And how did you go between each of the three roles?
I went to the National Taiwan University and I studied business administration. And my concentration was marketing at that time. So that led me to the marketing role in L'Oreal. I was doing a marketing executive as a trainee program with one of our luxury brands. After 2 years, I feel my passion actually really lies more in the ad tech industry. And Google was part of our media partners at that time because we spent a lot of money. I decided to try to if I can get into Google as a account management role, and which was quite relevant to my digital background. But at the very beginning, I didn't get it. So at that time, I feel like quite frustrated, but I still decided, feel that L'Oreal might not be the best company or the way I'd want to develop my career. So I quit. And actually, during that small gap year, I traveled a little bit. I studied different languages and I even applied for the working holiday visa to Germany. But when I was about to to start my new journey in Germany, and then got a interview request from the Google recruiter, like telling me, hey, there's actually an account management role that was not in Taipei, but opened up in Beijing. Do you want to try? I said, okay, yeah, why not? So then I took this opportunity and then I got in and everything went quite smoothly. So that was my beginning journey with Google after L'Oreal. So that I started in Google Beijing instead of Google Taiwan. For that position, I feel it's actually really, really exciting. It's my first time living abroad. I was in Beijing for 2 years. And then at that role, I was doing a Google Ads consultant. It's more like helping the small and medium business to grow how to better use Google Ads to promote their business. At that time, it was not that automated like what we have right now. So we still require people like our team to help them to optimize the campaign and the settings, everything, right? After 2 years, there was a relocation happening. There are always a lot of changes happening in Google. We'll have this restructuring 1 or 2 years normally. So our entire team moved to Hong Kong. So I was relocated to Hong Kong, stayed there for half a year, and also doing a similar role, but also another good living experiences in Hong Kong. After 2.5 years, the learning curve has become a little bit flat, and then I would like to do something more strategic on top of just troubleshooting or of course like providing services with the small medium customers. Then I applied for my second role, which was we called partnership group. What I did was we help publishers and developers monetize their traffic. So we put a Google ad tag on their website or SDK in their app, and then so they can show like in-ad IAA, in-ad ads, and they'll be able to drive revenue on top of the popular IAP. It's called in-ad purchase model. That was also like the kickstart moment for me to start my partnership journey. I moved back to Taiwan, also taking care with the Greater China scope with both app and web. It was quite rewarding. At the earlier stage of Google, we might not have enough headcount or resources. So every single one we will take a slightly bigger scope. Then right now, like everyone, we have a very specific responsibility. So at that time, I was doing almost three people's job, both as a web and app. These are like two different work streams, and also another is for acquisition, which also develop the new customers, the partners that we can work with, instead of just maintaining the portfolio or partners that we have. For my second role, I got a lot great learnings about the web and app industry and monetization and everything, and then accumulate a lot of partnership related know-how in my thinking role.
You went from troubleshooting to online partnerships. How was that transition? And how did you know that was the next thing you wanted to do?
It was slightly challenging because the partnership skill set was slightly different than just doing the as tech consultant or troubleshooting or services, right? At that moment, I tried to really think of the transferable skills that I'm able to justify, but communication, pitching, or negotiation, these are still quite, I would say, universal in this business field. So I tried to package that in a better story that helped me to get into that role. I think it's also because I have a little bit connection with that team, with the hiring manager. If you think about the advice, you're trying to make connection because you know a little bit more on the personal level, and then you will know the team structure. So you get a better edge to be able to move on to the team that could be seemingly totally different from what you did before.
You started helping publishers monetize. How long did you do that for? And how did you end up at YouTube now?
I've been in that role for more than 6 years. Yeah, that was the longest role I ever had within my Google journey. And then I think a couple of reasons why I stayed that long. First of all, was because there was opportunity for changing. So at the beginning, I mentioned I did web and app also acquisition, and then when the team got bigger, then I started to have to specialize in web business a little bit more. And then when I'm doing web and also taking more specifically on news publishers, because we have a lot of news publishers, and then also going deep, and I was the APAC news lead at that time, which also helped me that even though I'm focusing on specific genre and vertical, but I'm increasing my scope from only Greater China, but to APAC lens, which was quite rewarding. That's one of the reasons why I stay a little bit longer, even though you're in the same position, there's opportunity for you to grow. I remember in my third or fourth year, I started to tap into the video industry. Yeah, so at that time, I was working with some local OTT partners, thinking if there were opportunity that we can help them to monetize. And the video was a very different territory because it got very complicated and technical. So for that, I'm also for that year, I had the luxury to spend some more time and study with this video, this new landscape. That also helped me to grow further, still with that team. And then I think the final reason I aim for promotion. I know if I stay in the same team, the chances that I get promoted is actually way higher than if I just move around to the new team because you have to accumulate all the new know-how, everything at the beginning. I have that in mind, even though I think at the very end of my previous role, I do feel the learning curve has been quite flat because it's been that role for so long. Even though I've been changing different projects, I was waiting for a better chance to get promoted at that time, which I got up. I did some study about some of the video landscape that helped me to get into where I am right now with YouTube, which is most focusing on the video industry.
Nice. And how long have you been with YouTube now?
Yeah. So I think it's approaching 4.5, almost 5 years, I would
Wow.
say. Yeah, it's also I know, a bit long time really fly.
How long do you think it normally takes for you to become an expert in the team or the field you're in? And then at what point do you feel like your learning curve you're not learning as much? Is there a magic number?
Yeah. I would say it's about 2 years, but everyone could be different. The first year you're like learning and then acquainting yourself with all the know-how, and then the second year you start to perform, start to really making impact. Normally for me, I think it's 2 years is a minimum, a base amount that you feel say, okay, now I know what it's all about, and I'm contributing to that. So I would say third year will be the moment that normally I will start to explore a little bit. Should I stay, or even should I look for the other roles or things like that?
How did you get to 6 years?
If I'm speaking for the YouTube role right now, because YouTube is comparatively a more complex product area compared to ads before. For example, when I was doing the previous online partnership, when I'm dealing with publisher or developer, the overarching goal we want to drive is monetization. So as long as we help them to be able to grow their ads revenue, like driving users growth, traffic growth, that eventually that we can help the partners to grow revenue. But in the YouTube world, we have so many different KPIs like daily active users, user watch time, revenue monetization, of course, and also product adoption. Let's say how many partners are uploading shorts, and then how many of them are uploading the content that is fitting for living room. That's 4K living room with a high resolution. And also we also have the aspect, are we helping our creator ecosystem to grow? We have rising creators. Are they growing or are they like trimming? And then like creator retention. We're doing YouTube shopping, which is a totally new territory when it comes to retail merchants, store builders, or even like the creators. So that give me some more area to grow. And also now I'm taking care for Greater China. So which means China and Hong Kong and Taiwan, these three markets are extremely distinct and different. So that also helped me to realize actually after the 2 years, 3 years, there are still some area that I can keep polishing and growing. But now I'm reaching my almost 5 and 6 years. So the question I ask myself, even to the people that have been in this career for a longer time, is what are the value that you really want to deliver? And then that could be potentially totally different from what you do in the day to day. There's another luxury that we have for Google is 20% project, or the other that you can discuss with manager that you can use 20% of the time or even some of your personal time that you can really manifest the value or the impact that you want to bring on top of your core job. Now help me to expand beyond my current scope. So now I'm a coach within Google. We call it like G2G, Googler to Googler. So I'm coaching the junior Googlers, and no matter it's on their performance review or they're navigating Google's structure or client facing or skill set or all this stuff, and also taking external coaching right now. So I feel that is something I can see myself still growing. Also the most critical thing is I can bring more impact that is aligned with my values. Yeah. So that's why I think I'm still fighting all this growth area within my current role.
What's one lesson you would tell yourself when you're early in your career,
Mm-hmm.
mid-career, and then maybe one lesson you recently learned?
At an earlier stage of my career, I'm really goal oriented. I would say that okay, this is what I want. As I said, okay, let's say promotion. It could be easily maybe a lot of folks will think promotion because that's the target, right? And you see that is there's ladder and levels. So I would say okay, I want to be the best performer. I want to get a promotion the fastest ever in my team. So I have that goal in mind, and everything I did was toward that goal. And I break down into like little milestones. What can I do? And by month, my day, my projects, everything. Because I always be like very thinking person, very rational, very logical with all the things that play in my head. And then I think I would told her that, hey, Chloe, it's actually fine that if you don't reach that goal, because sometimes you just have to realize you have to make space for things to happen. At that time, because I feel stressed because I have this goal I set for myself and I really want to achieve it. But now I tell her, it's okay. Sometimes just be a little bit more patient. Sometimes be a little bit more open that something even better is waiting for you. If I'm talking to in mid-career, so I imagine fly back to when I was with my OPG online partnership role, I'll tell her to stop and look around from time to time. The reason why I say that is because at that moment, of course, I was still quite goal oriented, but I know I'm expanding, I'm exploring, and I want to deepen my knowledge. But I didn't really know, I would say that the value that I want to bring at that time. I just have to stop and really revisit, like, hey, why am I here? Hey, what I'm doing now? Are you really living the life that you want, that you found so meaningful for yourself? I think that taking that pause, taking that stop and to revisit, and then especially by aligning the personal value I mentioned earlier, I think that would be the advice I want to give myself in my mid-career. I have this eureka moment just recently when I had a chance to talk with also very senior folks in Google. There will be ups and downs. And right now we're going through so many changes like restructuring, global layoff, and then some team member will probably just be gone. Even though all this ups and downs happen to you, you have to take the ownership back and know what does that mean for you in the longer run. These could be an amazing story or great material for me to help my clients or help my junior members that I tell them I've gone through that. It could become the nurturing foundation for me to even help provide more assistance and help the other people in the long run. I think that's mindset change, and also help me to understand no matter what happened, no matter how terrible, you can always turn them into something that become your superpower, part of the magic that help you to fly further. Yeah, that's the realization I had lately.
This is a good segue into my next question is, how do you balance your career and your personal life?
I always prefer to use this word like it's not work-life balance, but it's more like work-life integration. I'm integrating my current role, the job that I like working with clients, all this stuff. Even though when I'm doing like the pitching or negotiating all the stuff, but I have this idea in mind that why am I here? Why am I doing this? And I know all the experiences can help me to go further. I think that's one mindset. And the other, I would say probably a little more practical one was just I like the idea like manage your energy instead of manage your time because there are different energy level in our day. Someone like a morning person and could be more like doing strategic thinking productive. Someone who tend to work alone and maybe in evening or night and work more focused mode. So I would say I identify our own energy level and then be able to do our job at the most effective way so that you integrate your energy and it work in a smoothly way so you can finish the core job in a more efficient manner. That would be probably two tips or two realization for, as you mentioned, that work-life balance or integration piece.
What was it like working in Beijing, Hong Kong versus Taiwan? What are the cultural differences? Maybe pros and cons of each.
It was a little bit long time ago, I would say. So I can only comment that what I learned from that time. Working in China helped me to really expand my horizon because I was able to work with so many talented people because China is huge, right? So the talent you work, the Googlers you work with, mostly also like Beijing is the capital. So they are like maybe the top one or two folks that from their country, from their counties, and then they moved to Beijing because of this. The overall vibe was more competitive. And I'm also not just speaking for Google, but over generally what I observe in China, also from my partners. I feel it's good to be able to work in China when you are at a younger stage because you know that, oh, everyone's really working so hard. And then you feel this I couldn't say that's peer pressure or something, and you feel, yeah, I can do a little bit more, and then all this. That was a good mindset. Hong Kong is also quite competitive, but compared to China, I would say Hong Kong tend to, in the industry-wise, tend to be a little bit more narrow to finance. The speed of life was also faster, so you always feel like everyone's rushing. The pros will be you'll be able to get to meet more international people there because it's like an expat friendly country. You've met people from Singapore, US, or Europe, and ever Japan. That also help you to increase the sense of diversity that you can work with them. The cons was slightly more narrowed, and in terms of living, I feel a little bit slightly boring. Hong Kong is smaller, and also Hong Kong is comparatively a way smaller office than the one we had in China. So in terms of the new job opportunity, and also the levels I will be able to have will be a little bit more limited. Yeah, so that's also the cons that I observed in Hong Kong. Then back to Taiwan, originally when Google Taipei started, it's like way much smaller offices. But lately that we're expanding to a lot more in Banqiao, which was having a lot of hardware, product area, and Pixel, all those teams. We are almost becoming the biggest technical site in Asia. Taipei, of course, this is my hometown, home country, so I feel quite comfortable with all the people. And the people are nice, and but I still also have the slightly like similar downside, like in Hong Kong. If you work in a business field, there will be a little bit more limitation around the role and the seniority or the team that you can expand to. That's similar, but slightly better than Hong Kong. I feel like Taiwan are always proud of our tech innovation capability, and right now also adding on, we have this expansion with the tech site.
For people who are looking to break into tech in Taiwan, what's the best way they can contact you?
You can reach me at my LinkedIn profile. You can just search Cloe Tai, CLOE TAI, and I have more updates about what happened on YouTube, in Google, and also my personal learning from my career. You can reach out to me regarding the services I'm providing, no matter it's a personal coach or business consultation, and it's more like tailor-made for you. I see myself as I would say the space holder for my clients or coachee that help you to explore who you really are, your value, and to be able to marry that in your career or even like solving your business problems so far.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Chloe.
Thank you so much for having me, Henry.